How's it going, everyone? It is Drago. So I just got back from seeing the new Sword Art Online movie, which, my goodness, this might be the longest title for a movie I have ever seen. It is named Sword Art Online, the movie, progressive aria of a Starless night. I'm just going to talk about things I really liked from the movie, so spoilers for that, but I'm also recording this at 2 in the morning because the only movie theater that was playing it was like multiple hours away from me, and I drove there and it was at like 7:30 at night, and it took me a while to get back home. So I'm basically recording this when I got back home, and I don't really entirely know why I did it, because I saw Sword Art Online and I quite liked the beginning part of it. I didn't really love the after stuff too much. I thought Gun Gale was kind of fun, but I haven't been that died hard into it, and I haven't watched the newest arc stuff yet either. But I do remember me liking the original Sword Art Online, and I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of fun if I did it. So we went and saw the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was fun. I was a little worried when I saw the trailers and stuff that like they were gonna make Asuna such like a weakling in this movie, but then I read a review that she's actually pretty strong throughout the whole movie, and literally this whole movie is Asuna's movie, which is very interesting to see her side of things. So let's get into actually like talking about the movie now. So her friend character that is in this movie, whose name is Misumi. You know, I haven't watched Sword Art in a few years, so I was like, maybe she was in the series, and I just never remember seeing her in the background. But I literally went back just to go look at a few scenes that they recreate in this movie, and she's not in it. I'm assuming she's 100% an original character for this movie. I never looked into it, so I don't know. With that assumption that she's a movie character, and I don't remember her even mentioning this girl at all throughout Sword Art, I was like, oh, this chick's gonna die by the end of the movie, which surprisingly not, she doesn't. Her having that friend kind of changes how she first met Kirito. At first I'm like, wait, she's meeting him before certain events happen, but then I realized, oh, this is happening literally before the first time he and her meet in the show. So I was like, this is kind of cool. They do change how basically meet, but then they also kind of change how they talk and maybe act towards each other, because like in the show she's maybe like a little bit more standoffish of him and has different goals and reasonings. And this one, in the movie, he first meets her when she is about to be killed by a monster, and Kirito comes over and saves her. And, you know, she gets saved by him again at a later point, and that's when they're going to the first dungeon boss. She's kind of already into him compared to like the show. They kind of just first met. I will say it's kind of fun, since I've seen the show, that it would be like there's a few moments and stuff that happen from the show in this movie to where it's like, oh, that's coming up. Oh, there it is. But I really liked, because most of Sword Art, you kind of see it through Kirito's eyes. This is literally just completely about Asuna and her whole thing. I wasn't sure how much I'd really like it, because she starts out as just this really smart girl that is getting top of her grades, except for one girl is above her, and this one girl is her friend, who is Misumi. She's a gamer, so she wants her to play this game, which ends up being Sword Art Online. And by the way, they were playing Tekken in this movie, and it was actually saying Tekken 7, which, by the way, before she even puts on the SAO nerve gear helmet, I'm like, no, don't put it on. No, you don't know what's lurking in there. Yeah, so she very much is not a gamer, and she says it multiple times throughout the film. And, you know, she doesn't understand how gaming stuff works, so like when she gets in the SAO, she's like talking to NPCs like they're real people. And, you know, I think her relationship with this girl in the film is really pretty good. They have a nice chemistry together. I like seeing the fighting scenes between those two, which the fighting scenes in this movie are really freaking good. There's so many very beautiful angles that they do, and like just kind of like how they're doing their sword and like powering up attacks. It looks really cool. But yeah, once they get fully stuck in the game, like Asuna is like very much freaking out and realizing that, you know, she's not a gamer and she's probably gonna die pretty fast here. She does almost die a few times, but you very much do see her being this, starting out as this weakling with no confidence in herself, to where Asuna starts feeling more comfortable in the game while like fighting and stuff. She was fighting with this Misumi for quite a while, and they were in a party together. And, you know, some actions happened. She went after something and kind of left Asuna for dead. And that's when, you know, Kirito saves her. But she was doing really good fighting by herself, and she was literally about to die. Do like how he kind of saves her and then realizes like, oh, it's this like pretty girl. And he's like, oh crap. Well, here's a map and here's all my items. Bye. It just bails out of there. Most of the friendship between Asuna and Misumi and their like kind of breaking up of their party is like they could have checked in on each other, because she was gonna like write an email to her, be like, you okay? And then she's like, oh, she's probably dead, so I'm not gonna write that email. So it led to Asuna thinking that she's dead and Misumi thinking that Asuna's dead. Basically, Asuna kind of almost went on a suicide mission then, of I'm just gonna go start fighting bad guys and clearing this dungeon completely by myself, to the point of where she passes out, and that's when Kirito saves her. And that's kind of where I think, for at least the movie, him saving her the second time, that's when she kind of starts liking this guy a lot more. And that's why when they go into the first dungeon, they're already really friendly with each other and actually getting along very well. Compared to the actual series, at this point, I don't even think they still have met yet. And then they meet like at the dungeon planning party. But yeah, like that second time when he saves her, she was really good at fighting at that point, because she was clearing this dungeon like it was nobody's business. But he gave her a few tips and stuff, and I think that's where she fully became the confident Asuna that we know from the series and stuff. Like her going into the final boss dungeon fight, like that was where she really became confident, really became a leader. And I do like that, you know, they beat the fight, and then Kirito does the like black swordsman thing, I'm the beater, and then just bails. I like that she was following behind him, like, I want to see where this guy goes. I thought that was kind of cute. Just to say, absolutely shocked that this movie only stays on the first floor of Aincrad. I legit thought it was going to skip between floors and kind of just tell Asuna's story of Sword Art Online, like from her side of things. But no, it's literally just the first floor. And this movie does end with a post-credits scene. It's basically setting up the sequel to this movie. So is that just going to be like floor 2? And then we're just going to keep doing a movie for each floor? Which I really did enjoy this movie, and I hope it does well. But like when I went to go see it, there was only like 3 people in the movie theater, and that was including myself. So I'm like, I don't know how well this is doing financially. But yeah, I very much really enjoyed Asuna's arc at this. I think her kind of not being confident in herself, and then at the end she's really confident and is a really cool fighter. You know, that like the end dungeon fight is very like colorful, like people are doing crazy sword attacks. I like that you get the hints of future stuff, because it's like, I know Kirito and Asuna, they end up together, but their chemistry is really good in this movie, and you can see it like starting to build like their relationship and stuff. And to be honest, I don't mind this friend character coming in, even though she wasn't really mentioned, or she wasn't mentioned at all in the main part, at least that I know of. I quite liked her. I liked her scythe attacks and all that she was doing. If they're very much having this just be like a movie universe now, I very much am interested where they're going to go with the sequel, because it said it was coming out in 2022, which is actually hilarious. This movie was taking place, I think it was like October 14th of 2022. So I was like, it's in the future. It's next year. I'm really glad, even though it was such a hassle for me to get to this movie, I'm really glad I went to go see it because it was I really enjoyed the original Sword Art, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I think it's super fun to see like the gaming stuff, like they're talking about like rating and stuff, and I just did the 30th anniversary event for Destiny and playing the new dungeon on there, and I was talking to my clanmates like that, like, oh, what are we gonna run in the dungeon, boys? And they're doing that same kind of talk in this movie, and I'm like, gosh, dude, this is such gaming lingo. I just like the whole idea of Sword Art thing, of people being trapped in a game, and just like, we could potentially build to this point. We could potentially get here. But yeah, if you get a chance to see this movie, I think it's only out for like one more day. So it was barely out at all in the United States. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you like kind of the video game stuff and the original part of Sword Art Online, I think you'd like this. I really enjoyed it, and I really did enjoy the main part of the main series. Even though people's motivations are different now, and people act maybe a little bit different, I do like the character building, especially for Asuna. And I do like that this movie was completely focused on her. So yeah, what did you guys think of this movie if you saw it? I think there's going to be a Fairy Tail chapter out this week. Hopefully, I don't know. If it is, I got a few things going on my plate for projects I got working on, so I'll probably get that out maybe in the weekend. If there isn't, forget I said that. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Leave your comments down below, and this is Drago, signing out.